Okay, welcome back, everyone. Jim Williams, HurricaneCity.com. We're covering Hurricane Francine moving onshore uh, towards Houma, Morgan City, Louisiana. You are watching the live Lumpkin research camera right on the coast, and I will show you exactly where that is. It is, yeah, it's right in here. So inside that black circle is where that facility is located. And you can still see the intense bands are over that area. And as you can see on the camera, look at the wind just whipping across. Amazing, incredible. Um, Let me check those observations again one more time. Okay, here's the current weather observations. 64 mile per hour winds out of the southeast. Oh, southeast. 64 mile per hour winds out of the southeast. That makes sense. Um, Water depth is 9.68 feet. That's as of 5 p.m. It's an hour ago. Well, that might be current. Water temperature, wind speed. The wind speed graphic isn't working. Let's see what the pressure is here. Water depth in feet. Yeah, I mean look at the water depth chart. The blue, you can see it goes up and down with the tide cycles, and then all of a sudden, bam! Here we are with the hurricane making landfall, and we have almost 10 feet of water, a 10-foot tide coming in there. And you can see on the camera that the water is probably halfway up those buildings. And that is not from rainfall, folks. That is from storm surge. And the Terrebonne station is... No, that's old. Okay, so there's 64 mile per hour winds out of the southeast. What you're looking at on that camera shot right there, that's what you're going to get. All right, let's listen in on Mike a little bit, see what he's doing. He's still in Morgan City, Louisiana, waiting for the eye to come in. Again, just so you can get a concept of where Mike is, let's go ahead and mark his location here. Wait a minute. My paperclip up there. Right there. He's somewhere within that black circle. So he's not getting the eye just yet, but the weather conditions are about as bad as they're going to get in Morgan City right now. Notice the open, again, the dry look on the south side here. Dry air working in. Changes. And again, I doubt those winds are 100 miles per hour onshore right now. I mean, there's no way. Even at the Lumpkin Research Facility, they're measuring 65, 70. But again, that's what 65, 70 does when you're right on the coast. It can be very dramatic and bring in a lot of water, and that's what's happening there.
It's a good shot there. You might be able to see the rain coming off the bridge there.
All right, so again, look at how high the water is now. It's about halfway up the building. I think this is about as high as it's going to get based on what I'm seeing with the radar presentation here, and the system is beginning to weaken now, so I think it's probably reached its max surge. That's what I was going to do. Look up the tide situation. Let me get that. Tides. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's low tide right now. Well, wait a minute. Nine 11 8 a.m. Yeah, 12. So we're at low tide right now. Patience. Everything I'm seeing now looks like we're at a low tide situation right now. This is the real-time data map from the coastal inundation. Let me pull that up here. Again, the legend storm surge warning is the purple area, and storm surge watch is the light. Morgan City is under a storm surge watch. Let's see. So we are currently at 11. Where are we? We're right here. 1554. We're at yeah, there's no major flooding going on. As you can see with the graphic, nothing is in the minor, moderate, or major flooding stage right now. So that's good news. This is Amarada Pass, which, if you look at the map, that's just south of Morgan City. So if it's not flooding down there, then it's definitely not going to flood in Morgan City, in my opinion, from surge flooding. Yeah, we're talking 3-4 feet of water, which would match what we're seeing at the Lumpkin. Let's see if there's a option. Yeah, there is. This is a little bit. Yeah, this chart is about as close to that facility that I've been showing you with the live cam shot, where there's minor flooding, but 2 to 4 feet. I don't know. I'm still thinking, but that's southeast of where the Lumpkin facility is. The Lumpkin facility is over in here somewhere, so there's no observations there. Yeah, let's look at this. Okay, here we go. 5 p.m. Yeah, we're looking at 5.61 right now, Mississippi Delta Basin, Cocodrie. This is right near where that facility is. So it's at 5.61 feet. And then when you look at the cam shot, it pretty much matches. Again, that might be a little bit south of where that flooding is taking place, which is a little bit further up in here. Let's see what this one says. Yeah, 3.59. That's probably more like what you're seeing in that shot is 4 feet. Three 4.09. Ah. Let me let you listen to Mike for a little bit while I try to figure some stuff out here.
My God. Huh. It was 100 mile an hour now. Upgraded. Oh, crap. Am I still streaming? That's crazy footage there.
All right, so Mike's feed is lost. I don't see anything streaming live at the moment, so yeah, he was live, but he was having problems with the live stream. So let's go back to our cameras. Wow, it's just amazing. Every time I look at that camera, I'm amazed at that wind whipping across there like that. But I'm waiting to see the eye. I want to see this eye get in there, and it's not into Morgan City. It's not in Oklahoma yet, but that facility should be under. It should be. It's close. It should be clearing out any minute. They should be under the eye of that thing on this cam shot here.
Get it to them. Okay. Well, thank you. I think it should be okay till about 6 o'clock. If I had to guess, 6:30, maybe at the latest. Okay. Just depends on what the wind's doing. Gotcha. We love hearing from you. Just feels, I don't know, it's good to hear from someone. You calm me down. So, is there anything you'd like to say? Anything else you'd like to say? the parish. Well, I appreciate you guys always working with us. Hey, can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, I just appreciate you guys always coming on there with us and for actually inviting me on there with you guys and putting this message out to our citizens because we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And I, again, just appreciate our citizens always cooperating. And look, like I said about the curfew, no one likes a curfew. I don't like a curfew, but at the end of the day, it's all about the safety of citizens in this parish and the safety of first responders as well, because once it gets to a certain level out here, we cannot allow a first responder. It just gets dangerous for them too. And I don't want them to have to go rescue someone that's out riding around with no reason to be riding around. Correct. All right. Well, thank you, Jason. As always, we love hearing from you. We'll be reaching out to you probably tomorrow, if that's okay. Yeah, sure. Love hearing from you guys, and y'all be safe. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Livingston Parish Sheriff Jason Ard. It's Murphy, Sam, and Jody on the iHeartRadio family of radio stations. Our continuing coverage of Hurricane Francine is live right now here on 96.1 The River, 102.5 WFMF, 101.5 WYNK, Downtown Radio 97.7, and WJBO News Radio 1150 AM and 98.7 FM. We'll have more right after the break.
Okay, and if you notice here, and again, New Orleans is over here. So New Orleans is right there. And if you watch the track of this, I mean, this area here might get some of that eye wall, whatever's left of it. But look, it was 100 as it made landfall. And most of these people that are getting these oranges and the reds are getting gusts maybe 80, 90 miles an hour in the dark reds. But everybody else that's getting the orange here is probably 60, 70 mile per hour winds. So New Orleans greater, which is kind of like over here somewhere, is probably going to avoid that eye wall for the most part. Again, you can't say for sure, but it looks like they will miss that eye wall. Again, Jim Williams, HurricaneCity.com at 6:30 Eastern Time. We've been live since around 5, covering this coming in with the 5 p.m. advisor of 100 mile per hour winds, moving northeast at 17, pressure 972. Let's see if there's any more fresh recon data here. Let me check that out. Yep, there's a new vortex message. All right, let's get this up. So, notice it was 981 down here at the bottom. And, it was 981. Now it's gotten up to down to 977, then 974, and then 972 right before landfall. Let's take a look at that fix close up. We have 972 millibars. Drop zone was at the center, and it measured 7 knots, 8 mile per hour winds. That's pretty good. If they can get that drop zone in the center and only get 7 mile per hour winds, that's pretty amazing. It's 80 miles from Lafayette, Louisiana. It's an elliptical oval-shaped eye, open to the south, and the eye is 50 nautical miles wide. So it's 50 miles wide and 30 miles tall, or north to south. It's kind of a scrunched eye. As you can see on the radar, it's kind of a scrunched eye there, elliptical, 30 by 50 mile wide eye, based on the hurricane hunters. Of course, this was as of, let's see what the timestamp on this was, 22. That's 5:20. That's an hour old. It's about a half an hour old, that observation from the recon. flight level winds are up to around major hurricane force, 120 miles per hour. But again, that's where they fly the planes. That's not where the ground level winds are completely different than the flight level winds. So I know people like to reference flight level winds when they try to jack up the intensity of a hurricane, but the reality of it is that is not what people are getting at the surface. What they're getting up in the plane is a whole different animal. The SFMR, which are surface winds based on the instruments on the aircraft, are measuring 83 mile per hour winds. And those winds were 23 miles to the west of the center. So on the west side of the center, they're measuring those winds of 82 miles an hour. So that's interesting. So as this backside, that little hook comes in, they might have some of those winds, 80 miles an hour right in that west side right there. Interesting. Surface wind outbound was 76 miles per hour, and that's north-northwest of the center. So they're measuring 76 mile per hour winds up in here. So looks like Mike is about to get in the eye. And by the way, those SFMR winds are based on a 10-second period of wind. So that's it, 972 millibars from the hurricane hunter. That was the last fix I got. And there's the fixes. It's definitely moving northeast. And if you pan this out and consider New Orleans is right there, it's going to go west of New Orleans, definitely, at this trajectory. And it might even be beginning to make that northerly turn that the models were predicting. Let's get our cameras back up on the coast there, see if that eye is moving in yet. Nope, still wind gusting east. Yeah, this is the shot. It looks like it might be calming down a little bit. Now, the wind is still howling across there. Yeah, the visibility is terrible, but yeah, the water's a little higher, man. I mean, it's a little over halfway up. And again, we looked at the tide gauges out there, and they were saying 5.9 feet, but that was a little further south than where this facility is, so it makes sense it'd probably be about 4 feet. And up near Morgan City, they're not getting any flooding at all, from everything I'm seeing. Waiting to see that eye come in. It's right there. I mean, again, I think that facility is, again, if I'm right about this, the facility is right there, is where the facility is. So it's still not in the eye yet. Got a little ways to go. Again, Jim Williams here with you. I'm monitoring the cameras from the southern coast of Louisiana. The storm surge has moved in around 4 feet. And monitoring the radar. We got Mike out in the field. Mike's weather page has given us permission to show his live shot. And in fact, let me see if he's got anything new here. No, he's got nothing new. He might be having data connectivity issues. Well, let me double check. You know what? I need to investigate this. Hold on a minute.
I'll tell you, I mean, I like serving the public. I want to try to make a difference to our community. I don't work for the city of Baton Rouge for 37 years, not having that goal and objective, that's for sure.
Well, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Maybe we'll be speaking with you in the next day or so. You know, I mean.
Yeah, that's fine. You got my number. You know how to reach me. I know y'all do. That's for sure.
Well, before we let you go, I know we're about to say goodbye. Before we let you go, then tomorrow, you know, after the worst of this blows through and gets out of here, what do you've been doing this a long time. What will you be doing? What is
Well, we're going to be looking at the areas that people have called in.
Sure.
And called in for 311, and I will also emphasize, if you got problems, you got things that exist, you need to call 311, and we get those lists there pretty quickly.
Okay, notice the winds have increased now at that facility up to 70 miles per hour, and the water depth is 10.28 feet. Again, that's the tide gauges, but that doesn't mean that that's 10 feet of water coming in there. It's probably more like 5. Again, the wind speed graph is still not showing up. It's 5:30 p.m. That's an hour old. Camera looks like it's frozen. No, that one's still live. Yeah, I think Mike's having some issues with his connectivity. Again, it's hard to do this, getting in these storms and keeping your signal active. By the way, do have new camera that I purchased that is runs off all the available cell towers. Pretty cool technology that when you're on the road, it'll pick up. If you're having bad connectivity, it'll jump from one tower to whatever the best connection is. It'll take advantage of that and then show you the live feed. So we're looking forward to getting that deployed. Working at it at the house right now to see how it works and how the tracking works on the clarity and the connectivity. But it's looking pretty good. Like it's doing it's a really good camera, so I can't wait to get it deployed out in the field. So we're watching the Lumpkin cams on the coast of Louisiana. The eye is still kind of straddling the coast, but we're not seeing it on that camera shot. So I don't know. It's just waiting to see if we can get the eye here, and then that'll be it for this broadcast. But because the backside is eroding as we fully expected, although on this radar it's filled in a little bit. Let's check our buoy data. Okay, we got a frozen screen here. Let's go ahead and pull up our satellite image. There was never a healthy looking eye on the satellite on this, by the way.
Retailer that has your payment detail.
All right. Let me try something else here. All right, let's do a visible loop of Francine. This is on the Weather Nerd site. Yeah, that's a nice shot. So there it came in, and there was a brief eye there, and then it tried to make a comeback, but it just never really was a clear eye. It just never really wrapped like a solid visible eye on a visible satellite. It just never really popped. Again, this is Weather Nerds. This might actually get pretty close to New Orleans. I don't know. It's gonna be close. Let's look at the water vapor of this. Why isn't that working? All right, there's our water vapor.
LSU just issued something for tomorrow. They're under a shelter in place until 1 o'clock tomorrow. So the campus is going to stay closed tomorrow, and tomorrow remote classes are canceled too. You know, today they had the remote classes. Tomorrow, nothing for LSU, all canceled. If you're at the Law Center, Vet School, or LSU Online, they're going to be reaching out to you separately. This covers just the general campus. And as far as Friday goes, they'll make those announcements after the storm passes. Southern is closed tomorrow. They're expected to resume on Friday, and this is for the Law Center and everything. BRCC, remote classes tomorrow, and all classes, events, and activities are canceled.
I'll tell you this funny little quick behind the scenes is that our Phoebe is a sophomore at
Let's
LSU, and I thought I was
see if we have an update from the National Hurricane Center here.
I think it was early this morning. Hey, you're going to be doing remote classes. She's like, I know, I got the email. Thanks.
Yeah, I did that too,
Thanks,
Maddie.
Mom.
I tell Matt, whenever I find out, I let Maddie know, and it's like, well, yeah, we all got the text. I was like, oh yeah.
Okay, so the official landfall from the National Hurricane Center was at 5 p.m. It made landfall in southern Louisiana in the parish of Terrebonne, about 30 miles south-southwest of Morgan City. As a Category 2 hurricane, the maximum sustained winds were estimated to be 100 miles per hour. A NOS station located on Eugene Island reported a peak gust of 105 miles per hour. And minimum pressure measured at that location was 976 millibars. So that's the official landfall at 5 p.m., 100 mile per hour winds, 972 millibars from the National Hurricane Center. So it's official. Now, the problem is, where's the eye? Because we're watching it and we're not finding it anywhere on the cameras. So let's get back over there and look at those cameras and see if we have an eye yet. Nope, still don't have an eye. This one, I think this camera's frozen. Yeah, that camera's frozen. And I think this one's frozen as well. These cameras might be down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any movement on these cameras. Timestamp 5:50. Yeah, these cameras are down for the count. That's a shame. We had some really good looking camera shots there. So we can't see the eye, but the eye's got to be on shore now. And Mike is not out. His camera's down. All right, so let's check some weather observations and maybe. That was at 12. No, that's old data. Eugene. Winds 50 knots. And that was at winds are out of the north now. 24, 9, 10. That's something's wrong with their timestamps on these observations, I'm afraid. I can't trust those observations because I don't know that the timestamps are correct. But the eye has moved on shore. So let me just check. No, we have nothing new from Mike. So, all right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. This was just for archive reasons, for archive purposes, for the database. I'll edit this down, and it'll be on the video archive page as well of the landfall of Hurricane Francine, 100-mile-per-hour winds at 5 p.m. Near Morgan City. We don't know if the eye passed over. Mike might have some videos on his Facebook page, later on, but he's not live right now, so we don't really know. And there's no cameras from the area. The Lumpkin cams are down, so that's it for me. I did the best I could, but it's official. We have a landfall, and that's it. We have a long season to go, folks. We're only a little over halfway done, and everybody needs to be aware. Pay attention to what's happening in the tropics. Anyway, that's it for now.